Welcome back, everyone. This is Jarenitis bringing you Feed the Beast 1710. Today we are starting on episode 3. And before we get going doing anything else, I want to inform you that we have gotten Fastcraft installed on my game. The last 2 episodes were a little bit jumpy and jerky, and Fastcraft has made amazing improvements on that, so there's no more jumpy jerkiness. Fastcraft is an experimental mod, so make sure if you use it that you make frequent backups just in case something happens. I backed up right before I started this episode, so just want to make you aware of that. In between episodes, I did a little bit of mining. I broke my iron pickaxe, and that just won't do. But I did mine up a bunch of stuff. I did notice that down in the lower levels, gold is quite abundant. So is lapis. There's tons of lapis. But as you can see, I got a couple of things here. Did a little bit of smelting. I got 23 iron at this point. We're going to have to get into ore doubling because smelting it up single-wise just ain't going to cut it for much longer. But before we go into any more of that, let's go take a look. I don't have... I put it over here. There we go. Starting server. I don't even know what that does since I'm not on a server, so whatever. As you can see, I've expanded on the Daybloom situation, and having expanded on the Daybloom, I still have next to no mana. So yeah, that's kind of a thing. We're going to have to do something about this, because, Dayblooms are good. Oh, it just sent another burst over. Yay! But basically, we are generating mana, but it's really slow. It's free, mind you, but it's really slow, and I don't like slow. Slow is no good. But for a start, this is how we needed to do it. I grabbed a couple of cactuses because I had the cactus from the witchery room, and I started a cactus farm. We also had the melons, and I went ahead and started them here. And why isn't there a 4th cactus? Oh, let's fix that. It's always good to have access to these things because God only knows how long it might take to find a desert. So yeah, here, hold that. And I went ahead and moved my sugarcane farm over here as well. I put together a manual tree farm right here. Going out finding trees was just not fun for me. So I started just a general tree farm right here. Okay? So now that I've told you about that, oh yeah, and of course I'm sure you noticed already, but I'll point it out. I've got more chests, and I've labeled them for what they are. Botania's things, well, yeah, random blocks, wooden stuff, miscellaneous junk, and so on. Part of the mining that I did, right down there, if you can see just slightly, there are 3 or 4 diamond ore blocks. We're going to go harvest them here in a little bit. We're not quite ready to harvest them yet. I don't want to make another iron pickaxe because I don't want to waste the iron. So instead, we're going to do a couple other small things before we continue on. All right, let's get going. All right, now, as I said, Dayblooms are good, but they are not going to do as I want them. All of these are different flowers that generate mana through different circumstances. The next one that I'm going to get involved in is going to be the Endoflame. I was going to go with the hydrangeas, which, by the way, the hydrangeas actually just suck up water. They generate mana about the same speed as the Dayblooms, but they just suck up water source blocks. And those run as long as there's source blocks around. And if it rains, they go even faster. So that's really cool. However, I don't have the correct mystical petals to be able to make those yet. So I'd have to go out looking for petals. But since I want to make something that's going to make that simpler, we're going to start this way instead. We're going to make the Endoflame. The Endoflame is basically a furnace flower. It basically cooks anything that can burn, logs, planks, sticks, coal. Anything that you can put in a furnace that is going to burn will be eaten by these things. And instead of cooking stuff, it produces mana instead. So I've got a couple things together. Now, as you can see here, it's got the mystical red petal, the mystical brown petal, and the mystical light gray petal. However, then it has a brown mana petal and a red mana petal. Okay, now the mana petals, you simply drop the petals into a mana pool, and then it takes the tiniest little bit of mana, and it then turns it into a mana petal. So I have the things here to make these. So let's go ahead and step outside real quick to the mana pool. And, you know, as the saying always goes, you got to have mana to make mana. Ha ha ha. So I drop those in there, and they immediately come back to my inventory, nice and mana'd up. All right, so we're going to make 2 of these End of Flames. I would make more, but again, don't have that many resources early on. So we're going to run in here. We're going to grab 2 normal seeds, and we're going to go ahead and make this up. So it is one of those, 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 and then the seed. Yay, End of Flame. For those of you who don't know, if you just mouse over, and it's embarrassing how long it took me to figure this out, but when you're in your inventory, if you mouse over something and push the Q key, it actually drops that item that you're mousing over. So that's how I'm very easily making these. And now we have 2 End of Flames and an empty Petal Apothecary. We'll fill that back up just so I don't forget for next time. And also, we're going to grab some coal. I'm going to go ahead and grab 18 pieces of coal. I don't have that much coal, but we're going to use it because I think it's, you know, available. All right, so we're going to make 2 blocks of coal. Now, the End of Flames, as we're about to see, they will also be hooked into the same mana spreader. The mana spreader basically scans an area around itself and sucks up mana generated by any flora being flowers, in the immediate area. And you know what? I don't want that there. I want these 2 next to each other. Okay. Now, the way that these work is basically what you do is you drop an item on them, and then they will absorb that item and start to burn. Different burn times for different things, of course, same as normal, just like in a normal furnace. So when I drop these, they're going to sit there, they're going to go, hey, look, something we can burn, and as you can see, they're sucked up. Now you can see here that you have the fire burning in the top of them, showing that they are burning. And you might notice that now this thing is shooting bursts of mana a lot more frequently. So hooray, we are generating mana. Now, if we look at this, you can see that it is actually generating fairly quickly. So this should help us get this filling up a lot better. Okay, now, the big thing is nighttime. Don't want to get blown up by creepers because, you know, early game, not secure, sleep through the nights. So, big thing. Now that we are able to do that, we can generate mana more freely. Well, not free, but more freely. Nothing is free. So, what we can do is use this mana to do a bunch of really cool things. First thing I want to do is make some more living wood because I don't have enough. The second thing is we're going to go ahead and make some accessories that are going to help things move along quite nicely. So let's place a couple of these real quick. There, make me some more living wood. All right, cool. So now we can use the mana to do a bunch of different things. We're going to go ahead and make some really cool items. Do you mind? All right, so let's see. In the Botania, it should be listed under... Nope, not baubles. Mystical items? Yes. We're going to make a Horn of the Wild. A Horn of the Wild, basically, when you right-click it, it makes a really obnoxious noise, but it basically breaks down any grass or plants or any normal growth thing and just breaks it from you. It has a very nice range, and we're going to be making this. What we require is some living wood and some pasture seeds. Pasture seeds are simply grass dropped into a mana pool. Okay. Now we're going to make 2 of these, and I think that early on I got some grass. Yes, there we go. So we're going to go ahead and make some pasture seeds. Pasture seeds are actually really cool, by the way. If you want to spread grass really quickly, pasture seeds are the way to go. You just drop them on the ground, you right-click them on the ground, and it makes grass grow incredibly fast. Okay, so, sweet, good timing. So we're going to go ahead and make 2 Horns of the Wild, and the reason I'm going to make 2 of them is because I'm going to immediately upgrade one of them to do something else. The first thing we're going to have to do is go back in here and get my shears, because I'm going to need one more thing real quick. And this is going to be a really fun way to do this, so we're going to have fun with it. Alright, let me go out here real quick and grab one thing that we're going to need. we're going to need 1 block of leaves. Alright, put this back real quick. And you know what? We probably won't need these very much longer. These stone tools just ain't doing it for me. We're going to be doing some upgrading before we close out this episode. Alright, so, like I said, we're going to do some living wood and some pasture seeds. Where's my crafting table? And let's see, do that, and I believe it was that. Yes. 1 horn of the wild. Wait a minute, I want 2 horns of the wild. More living wood, please. Thank you. Alright, so 2 horns of the wild, and we're going to go ahead and take this first horn of the wild and immediately upgrade it to a horn of the canopy. Okay, now before we go any further, using these requires, well, it doesn't require anything, but you do very well to not just use these by themselves. But let's go ahead and show you how they work real quick, just for fun. This is probably going to make a mess, but that's alright. The Horn of the Wild, as you can see, let me get away from my garden real quick, because, yeah, don't want to uproot that yet. When you right-click the Horn of the Wild, it makes this amazing noise that uproots, basically breaks, all these different things out in the field. So you can actually walk along with this thing and just clear terrain very quickly. The problem you run into is these pneumaticraft seeds. Pneumaticraft seeds automatically replant themselves when dropped on the ground. And therefore, I can actually stand here and just have popcorn going, because they just replant themselves, as you can see. Okay, the other big problem is you have to run around and pick all this stuff up, and that's no fun. So we're going to do something else that's going to be useful not only for this purpose, but for other purposes as well. The other thing is the Horn of the Canopy, and you're going to love this. The Horn of the Canopy does this. Now that's how you break leaf blocks. So this can be very useful when it comes to actually breaking down some leaves that you want to get saplings out of, and so on. So yes, very cool Ring of the Canopy. Ring of the Canopy does not work on grass, as you can see. It only works on leaf blocks. So, you know, when you have a bunch of clutter around and you want to get stuff, well, this is how you do it. Alright, so now that we have that, we're also going to... You see, I can't reach that. That's stuck up there. And unless I chop down the rest of the tree, I can't get to that. And I don't want to have to run around as much picking this stuff up. So, we're immediately going to make something else that's going to be helpful in this situation. We are going to make a band of magnetization, I believe it's called. Nope. Let's see. It must be under baubles. Ring of magnetization. There we go. The ring of magnetization is basically a magnet. If you're familiar with the coin of, the coin from Xehanor's Reliquary. Okay, coin of fortune. It sucks things into you. There's other things that is basically any item laying on the ground gets sucked into you. Unfortunately, to make the ring of magnetization is going to require some ManaSteel. Well, ManaSteel is what we're working towards anyway, so we're going to get into that pretty much right now. A basic mana lens is going to be 4 ManaSteel, so this is actually going to cost quite a bit of ManaSteel. I didn't really intend to... I need to do that, but I don't want to waste too much of my mana. Well, let's just go and see if I can make all of this iron into ManaSteel. ManaSteel is made simply by dropping iron into mana. And we're just going to use up all the mana. Oh, wow, cool. It didn't use up all of it. Alright, so now with ManaSteel, we can make quite a few nice, nifty things. First thing we want to do is go ahead and make this ring of magnetization. Let's see, we're going to need 6 blocks of glass so that we can make glass panes. And then glass pane with ManaSteel makes your basic mana lens. Then the basic mana lens is I just turned all my iron into ManaSteel, and now I don't have any. I have a sudden, really stupid feeling because I need 1 iron ingot to make this, and I don't have any iron. I just used up all the iron. Oh gosh. Okay. Oh, I'm gonna need more iron anyway, so let's go ahead and do. Yeesh. Let's see. You know what? We're gonna do it this a slightly different way. I can't believe I forgot to keep out one piece of iron for this. I feel really silly now. Let's see. Mystical items. We are going to make ManaSteel equipment. ManaSteel, like other metals, can be shaped into tools and armor alike, just like the normal stuff. Tools and armor crafted from this material will share their properties with iron, albeit somewhat superior in enchantability and durability. Okay, so it's basically making a ManaSteel pickaxe is going to make essentially a iron pickaxe, but made of ManaSteel. And there is a plus side to this, and we'll get into that here in just a minute. We're going to need some more living wood twigs, which I'm going to need more living wood for. And that's not a big deal at all because we made extra. So 4 living wood logs is going to make 2 living wood twigs. And with that, we're going to go ahead and make a ManaSteel pickaxe. Just like I said, we were going to make upgrades. By God, we made upgrades. Okay, so now that we've made this upgrade, we can actually go ahead and do a couple of other things. Let me make sure I've got this straight. I don't think I need any more iron. We'll have to make the ring of magnetization after I do a little bit more mining. I can't believe I forgot that. That's okay. So the other thing we want to do is make a couple of baubles. We want to go ahead and make a band of aura and a band of mana. The band of aura is going to require a rune of mana and some ManaSteel. So we're going to need 4 ManaSteel there. And we're going to need, oh wow, 5 more here. So that's a 9. And let's make sure we can make all this stuff. I may have to go do the mining first. I did just look at the band of ore. Yes, okay. And then the band of mana is going to require 4 more. And yeah. Okay, so that's 13 ManaSteel more. Whoops. And we have 16 left. So yeah, we should be able to do this. So the other thing we're going to have to do is make one other thing that's going to be required to make, where is it? Here it is a runic altar. Thankfully the runic altar doesn't actually take anything special to make other than a mana pearl and some living rock. The runic altar is used to make all the different runes. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and make one of these real quick. I hope I have enough stuff. Thankfully, we got a couple of ender pearls, so we're going to go ahead and make one of these into a mana pearl, which, of course, the mana pearl is just an ender pearl into the mana. And those are all done. I need to go ahead and give them some more stuff to burn. Although we haven't run out yet, we probably do want to go ahead and make sure that these continue to generate mana, because we're going to be using lots of it for now. Ooh, and we're getting dark again. Alright. Here. Burn, baby, burn. Whoosh. Nice. Okay. So, as long as we're going to be here, let's go ahead and sleep through the night just to make sure that nothing bad happens. Alright, so, we're going to go ahead and make the runic altar. Along with the runic altar, we're going to need another mana spreader. So I'll get into that in just a second. The mana spreader is going to be more living wood, any kind of petal, and another piece of gold. So that's not a big deal. Alright, so let's go ahead and make this real quick. We're going to have this along with this. Oh, sorry, like that. And that makes the runic altar. Along with the runic altar, like I said, we're going to go ahead and need some more mana spreader. Okay, because the mana spreader has to point at the runic altar to take mana and give it to the runic altar as it's needed. So let's go ahead and place the runic altar down. We're going to put it right here for now. All the stuff will have its own place when I actually build a proper house. I just haven't decided to build a proper house yet. So, and when you put this down, if you place it facing where you want it to... Okay, that was backwards of what it was supposed to be. That's okay. Let's just turn it. There. Much better. Okay, so now we can go ahead and make the Rune of Mana, which is going to require, let's see, Band of Aura, the Rune of Mana, which is going to be, oop, another Mana Pearl. Oh, thank God I have 2 of those, or I would have to go hunt down an Enderman, or an Ender Mini. Those little Ender Minis are pretty cool, I gotta say. They're pretty cute. Kind of deadly. I'm just going to open every chest but the one I need. Don't worry about me. I'll just be fine. Alrighty, good. So we're still got plenty of mana. Alright, so now, when it comes time to do this, what we want to do is hold the item in our hand and right-click it on the altar. Okay, so as we saw, it is 1 mana pearl and 5 ManaSteel. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now that we have those there, we need to right-click it with the Wand of the Forest. And that will start, as you see here, is showing the progress bar. It is sucking up mana, and it is going ahead and putting that all together. The other thing we need is this piece of living rock, which thankfully I have 1 extra piece. Did I plan it, or am I just lucky? Who knows? Alright, so when you see the lightning coming out of the top of this, it's showing that it is now ready to actually make the item. You toss 1 piece of living rock on top of it, and you right-click it again. And it takes the living rock, combines with all of those items, and gives you, ta-da, the Rune of Mana. Yay. Okay, so now that we have a Rune of Mana, and we're still generating more mana, thank God, we're going to go ahead and do this. 1 Rune of Mana, plus the ManaSteel, gets us the Band of Aura. Okay, the Band of Aura is going to generate mana just by existing. You put it here, as you can see here, you can click this on your inventory, or you can push the B key. When you push the B key, it takes you straight into the Baubles inventory, or you can just click this from normal to Bauble inventory. By having this in your inventory, it is generating mana just by existing. By having it on, you are generating mana. Okay, so to go along with that, of course, we want some way to store the mana. And that is where the Ring of Mana, or the Band of Mana, sorry, comes into play. That's going to require 4 more ManaSteel, and we're going to need to make a Mana Tablet, which, oops, is going to require a Mana Diamond or a Mana Pearl. Well, we happen to be out of Mana Pearls, and we don't have any diamonds yet. But wait, we do. Now we're going to go downstairs and get this diamond. Now remember, this is a ManaSteel pickaxe, but it has the same properties as an iron pickaxe. Okay, so it can mine anything that an iron pickaxe can mine, which will include diamonds. And hooray, we have found diamonds. So let's go ahead and get me a diamond. Sweet, first diamonds, always nice. Alright, let's go ahead and get the others, because I'm probably going to need these here in just a second. Sweet. Alright, so we now have 3 diamonds, and I'll have to go find more, because God knows we're never going to have enough of them. But sweet. Now, the question is this actually going to be regenerating based on my Band of Mana, or do I have to have it stored somewhere? Damage value of 3 on this thing for the moment, so let's just continue making this. Basically, any kind of mana in your inventory will heal any ManaSteel or other mana-made items, okay? So this pickaxe does have damage right now, but because I'm going to be generating mana, it will regenerate itself. Okay, so we're going to need the Mana Tablet, as I said, and that was more living rock. Sweet, we have the living rock, and we have mana. Now, the cool part about this, and this is the whole reason I'm doing this, is because I want to have a steady supply of mana. There's the Mana Diamond. And a steady supply of mana, well, if I can walk around and while I'm doing all my mining and stuff be generating mana, well, that's a no-brainer. Of course we want to do that. So we need to make a Mana Tablet. By the way, the Mana Tablet can also be used to store mana from a mana pool. Okay? If you look at the mana pool while holding your Wand of the Forest, you can see that it says accepting mana from items. If you shift right click on that, it says sparing mana to items. Okay? So if I were to drop this on here, it would now, if you can see the lightning particle effects, it is now sucking the mana out of my pool and into the tablet. And as you can see here, it now has a damage value. Okay, I don't really want this right now because I'm going to be using it for other things, but you might notice that my pickaxe is instantly repaired. So yes, I have an infinite iron pickaxe as long as I have mana to give it. So now I'm going to be accepting mana from items because I don't want to waste this. We're going to go ahead and empty this back into the pool. That didn't take very long. By the way, the mana tablet can hold one entire pool of mana's worth of one entire mana pool's worth of mana. So it can hold quite a bit. So now that we have this, if we can get back in the door, we're going to go ahead and make the Ring of Mana, which basically is going to make the mana tablet into a ring. The band, whatever. I keep calling it the wrong thing, but that's all right. So now, as long as I have this equipped, now the Band of Mana is going to be accepting mana from the Band of Aura. So now I am generating mana everywhere I go. Now, this will be a very slow process. This can be upgraded later, but we don't have anywhere near the stuff necessary to upgrade that for later. Okay? So now that we have that, I need to go and do some things. I need to do some mining because I need a piece of iron. Ironically enough, I don't have any. And I'm going to have to find some. I thought I saw some on the way down here a minute ago. All right, well, we'll just do this in a minute. We'll be back in just a minute. I got to go find some iron. Alrighty, I'm back. I've gone out and I did a little bit of hunting. When I came back, I happened to notice this little gem. Haha, pun intended. There's an emerald just kind of hanging out here. This emerald I'm going to store away. That emerald was dropped by this villager. Secondary side note for you guys to know, when you have Botania installed, there's something called sheddings. Okay, I believe it's in the basics here. No. No. I know it's in... It says it in here somewhere. I'm not sure exactly where it says it. Maybe here. Natural apparatuses. Okay, maybe I'm not seeing it. Anyway, the point is that monsters drop things. Any entity can just drop... Here we go. Natural shedding. The living and unliving beings that inhabit our lands don't live in a static state. It's common for pieces of their body to fall out, or for them to drop things, or for them to extrude substances. The following page lists some items that can come from certain entities. Okay, chickens can drop feathers. Squids can drop ink sacs. Villagers drop emeralds. So they just happen to randomly drop emeralds. Spiders drop various things. So yeah, so you will find certain things just laying around the world. So one of the things I'm going to do pretty soon is I'm going to start gathering up all the villagers, and I'm going to make them stand on top of a hopper. That way I can go ahead and hop some ores here. So, yeah. Alright, so let's see real quick. We were going to go ahead and make one more thing before we close out this episode, which, by the way, you might notice that my ManaSteel pickaxe is at full durability, and I am starting to gather mana in the Band of Mana, so nothing bad happening there. Alright, good. So one of the things that we were going to make was go ahead and make the Ring of Magnetization, and that's going to require me to do that. Alright, so then the magnetizing lens, and then the, oops, I need one more piece of ManaSteel. You know what, we only need one piece. Let's just make one piece. I don't want to go overboard. God knows I might need more iron soon. Alright, so then we take this and we make the Ring of Magnetization. Alright, so Ring of Magnetization goes in the bauble slot. Now I'll have to choose which one of these I want to have because I only have 2 ring slots. So I'll go ahead and put that in there for now. And we're just going to go ahead and go around destroying grass and picking up all the things that drop from it. So we'll be back in just a minute. I'm going to, well, let me just show you how this works. So as you can see, stuff is being sucked towards me. And, oh, I just did it. You know, I just got done saying I wasn't going to do this next to my farm because of that. But, oh well, I'll have to replant the farm and rehoe that. Either way, so we can run around and just gather stuff from everywhere. This is a good way to clear terrain and gather up a bunch of stuff. So I'll be back in a few minutes. I'm going to just clear out a bunch of terrain, gather a bunch of mystical flowers, and basically clear the area of pneumaticraft plants because we don't want random pneumaticraft stuff happening. So we'll be back in just a minute. By the way, just so you know, when I say random pneumaticraft stuff, this is what I'm talking about. That is a potion plant gone crazy. I'm going to step into that, and I got fire resistance. Yay! Unfortunately, when it comes to the potion plants, when they mature, when they grow, they let off these just random potion effects. And sometimes those random potion effects are pretty cool, and wow, there's a whole other section of garden I didn't know I had. And sometimes the potion effects are not so cool. So getting your pneumaticraft plants under control is definitely a good idea early on. So that could have been something bad, and it can cause issues. So definitely be careful when it comes to pneumaticraft stuff. Now, I'm fairly certain that my inventory is full at this point, but as you can see, stuff is still being sucked in towards me. Now, if I look at my feet, I am trailing all of the stuff that I can't hold in my inventory, which is actually kind of cool because it means you can drag it with you even though your inventory is full. If you want to not have it with you, if you hold shift, it deactivates the magnet. As you can see, we can leave the stuff behind as long as we shift walk away from it. But we're not going to do that because I actually want most of the stuff. So we're going to go back over here, empty out the inventory, go back around, gather a bunch more stuff, and we'll be back again in just a second. Alrighty, now then, I made it inside right as a creeper was chasing me. I was out a little ways too far. So yeah, it's now nighttime. I can't sleep through the night because there's a spider on my roof trying to kill me, and I dare not go outside. So, for now, we're done. If you look out there, you can see there's a lot less grass and plants and stuff. Of course, yeah, jump off the roof a couple more times. That'll save me the trouble. Alright, so going out and doing that has necessitated me to have a pneumaticraft seed chest. This is only for pneumaticraft seeds. Second to that, I actually have this chest completely filled now. We're going to have to do something about that because we actually have stuff that we want to put in here and we can't. So we're going to have to do something to do good by that. We'll probably get into making some barrels or something of that nature next episode to start storing some overflow of items. I know, third episode and we already have an overflow of items. How fun is that? I'm telling you, Botania is greatness. Alright, so in between episodes, first off I'm going to wait for it to become daytime. And then I'm going to go make myself a ManaSteel sword. And then I'm going to go do a bunch of mining because I happen to be out of stuff. Secondly, we're going to make one other thing real quick, and that's going to be the golden bag of holding. That's going to require a diamond, 2 ingots of gold, and a block of gold. So that's 9, 10, 11 ingots of gold. And I have exactly 11 ingots of gold here. How's that for fun? I thought that was a pretty cool thing. 4 of those, and then we'll need a chest. The golden bag of holding is from Extra Utilities, I believe. Yes, it is. And the golden bag of holding is essentially a double chest that you carry around with you everywhere you go. So let me make this real quick and just show you. It's actually quite simple. Oh, except for the diamond. I'll have to find another diamond. I was planning on doing something specific with a diamond next episode, but we'll have to wait. Alright, so the golden bag of holding, since I'm going to be doing a bunch of mining, is essentially a double chest that you carry around with you everywhere you go. So I can store my extra stuff here, in here, and just have it carried around with me. Keep in mind that if you if you die, it drops it on the ground along with all the stuff in it. So if it despawns, everything in it despawns as well. You can actually put magical wood with it and give it a reincarnating 1. Basically what that means is when you craft this, if you die, it uses up the reincarnating 1 enchantment, but it keeps it in your inventory. So if you die, when you respawn, you'll have it back in your inventory anyway. Magical wood is something we'll get into at another time. It's kind of rough to get down and working. So we've got the golden bag of holding. Finally, it's daytime. I'm going to go make a ManaSteel blade, and that way I have an infinite iron sword. And next episode, we're going to get into what else we can do with ManaSteel and get into that as well. Secondary side note, just so you know, if you look at my experience bar, okay, that's the bar that's right here. If you can see it in the background, you got your hearts, you got your experience bar. If you notice that there's a little blue section at the bottom of my experience bar. The green is my experience to the next level. The blue is accumulated mana. So it's showing that how much mana is here. You'll see now if I take this and it's in my hand, but it still shows it. Now if I take it out of my inventory, that blue is gone. And when I bring it back in my inventory, it shows you how much mana you have stored. That's actually a very good thing to know, because when that is gone, you have to realize that you're no longer recharging things, or at least not at a fast pace. All right, so until next time, this is Jeronitis signing off on episode 3 of season 3 of my Feed the Beast Let's Play. Until next time, like me if you like me, subscribe if you want to see what I get into next, and as always, help spread the gaming!